Welcome, this is G with All Astrology, and this is the video for Libra, October 2019. We're going to discuss the tension that you have coming up at the end of the month, at the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. It's between Mars and Saturn. It'll have happened for all of us, but you're going to want to know exactly where in your life that's occurring so that you can be prepared for it, okay? Now, in the beginning of the month, beginning of this video, I'm going to go over the current energies. This is a update, basically, a revision to the previous Libra October video, because we now are amongst a square, I should say an opposition and a square. An opposition from the planet, the asteroid Eris in Aries to Libra's sun, squared by Pluto. Okay, I put out a whole video on that, and I'm going to put the link below. So to give you more in-depth information about that, just click on there and you can find out exactly, you can just go deep with that and find out what the hell that means and how it actually goes into 2020. And actually, till like 2023, we're going to be dealing with it in this way. Now, to bring this back to this video for Libras, you're having a great month. But I want Libras to recognize, one of the other reasons I'm also doing this video and doing like a revision of it is that the video I previously put out for Libra October 2019, there were parts of it that I misspoke, and I am correcting that right here and right now. Libras, the full moon happened in your 7th house. Most Libras, this full moon would have happened in your 7th house. It was 20-degree Aries full moon. So what that means is 7th house is our relationships, our significant one-on-one relationships. Either someone's going to be very fiery or I'm going to be very fiery, right? Like if it's my chart and I'm a Libra rising, I would have felt very fiery emotions. We talked about that too. Aries is very much about our passions because it's ruled by Mars. It's very physical. And so it tends to get riled up and be very... well, they get excited very easily when it comes to something they care about. And they're willing to not back down. Like they're willing to fight. They're willing to go the distance. Well, they think they're willing to go the distance because it's Aries. So they like to start shit maybe. How's that? They probably like to initiate a lot of relationships. Most definitely. If Aries is in your 7th house, you'd definitely be someone constantly seeking new relationships. And every relationship you're in or that you start, you probably have the capacity to connect in deeply with people because you're going to have Libra in your 1st house. Libras are all about significant one-on-one relationships. You get it? Because Aries is in the house of Libra, which is, right, balance, relationships, significant one-on-one relationships, and then you've got Libra in your 1st house, which is in Aries. It's all what I always talk about, understanding the polar opposite of prominent energies in your chart. Because when you understand the opposite, like me, I'm Taurus, so I need to really understand Scorpio. And for Scorpios, you'd really need to understand Taurus because it's really a part, you're part of the same, you hold the same capabilities, you hold the same potentials within you. Some are more prominent, some are hidden. And so you want to know, you want to have a better understanding of all of them. That gives you this more holistic view of who you are internally, energetically, spiritually, mentally, physically. It gives you just this whole new perspective of self. So at the time of the full moon, which was on the 13th, there would have been this great opposition between myself and my significant one-on-one relationships for Libra risings. Okay? Now, I also want to talk a little bit about what that would feel like for Libras. I know in that video I mentioned the ambiguity on that one day, the few days before the full moon, because there was Saturn, I think it was, that was really squaring up. And so it was this, oh my God, I don't know what to do. The Libra indecisiveness was really pronounced that day. But on the upside, some of the positive things is that you have Mars and the Sun in your traveling through your 1st house. Sun is where we are invigorated. Like we are, imagine the body is a vehicle. Goes to the gas station, it's getting low and it gets refueled. That's the sun. You get refueled because it's landing in your 1st house of the body. Plus Mars is there. So you have another body within the body, kind of like you get like a sub. You get tired, this other body steps in. Now, I don't mean that, to talk about, I'm talking about in the physical world, okay? It's the idea that we have more energy. We have the ability to go after what we want this month. And what you initiate this month, you're going to work on. But don't pass up the opportunity. Something comes along, take it. This is important because you're going to be working on this for the next 12 months. This is how this works. Mars won't come back to this point. It's going to be about another year before Mars comes back here. So if you initiate it here and now with the sun, this is a great opportunity. The sun it represents a new beginning in our self. Like there's something coming along. It involves me. And for Libras, it's going to involve learning, because you're going to have Venus and Mercury together in Scorpio. Scorpio is the investigator. It is the researcher. And Scorpio loves to keep digging and to keep knowing more. I want more. I need to know more. But Mercury's there. Mercury is learning. Mercury is teaching. Mercury is social media. Okay, this is the third house I'm talking about, right? Mercury, third house, Gemini, right? Mercury is our immediate environment, but in particular right now, it's really about learning, and you're going to be picking up and learning some stuff, and you're going to have the know-how, the knowledge. You're going to have the things, what you're going to need, what you have to succeed at this is going to be at your fingertips. Remember that. It's going to be at your fingertips. If you're frustrated, I understand that. If you're working in the home, there's definitely going to be a frustration, because we have this square between our first house, because we're Libras, right? And we go down and across the way into our fourth house. We've got Saturn sitting there, squaring the sun, okay? So there's tension. And then at the end of the month, I'm going to get into that in a little bit. At the end of the month, there's this additional tension that's going to come up. But for right now, there's going to be, it's challenges to what we're learning. Just, you might have to redo things. You might have to have a little bit more patience. You might have to ask some questions. You're going to be impatient. Mars does not have patience. So normally, if you were a person who would sit down and be like, okay, this is something new, I'm going to learn this, and you realize it's not happening for you as fast as you would like, it's because Mars is there. Mars is so freaking impatient. I can totally relate to this. I have Mars on my ascendant, and it took me a very long time to recognize that about myself, that I could be extremely impatient with myself. And when I was impatient with myself, I would be mean, because I didn't think that I picked up something fast enough, or whatever it was I was doing, I just couldn't have done it fast enough to satisfy Mars's ass. Okay, so now we're when we recognize that about ourselves, we learn to say, hey, step the hell back, give me some space. I can do this. I just need some breathing room. Give me a little bit more time. It's going to work out. Like, you sometimes got to just be that way and say that. Let Eris step in and reestablish her feminine energies and say, hey, whoa, back up. I can do this. Just give me some time. I can do this, right? Eris is the feminine warrior of Mars. Mars and Eris are considered to be one of the same. Mars is the masculine fight, and Eris is the feminine fight. The masculine warrior, the feminine warrior. Mars, Eris. Okay, so like I said, go watch that other video. You'll get more information on that. Okay, so you're going to have the ability to be more actionary, and you're going to be wanting to start things. You'll be able to start things, to initiate things. Remember, you're going to be probably a little bit less harmonious than usual, Libra rising, okay? Because of the square thing. And also because you've got Mars in your first house and the sun. So you just feel more like, I can do this, and you just go. And if there's anything in your way, it's like, get the hell out of my way, you know? So you'll be more willful. How's that? You'll be more willful than usual. I just realized my microphone was not attached to me, so I'm going to slide it over here, and hopefully I don't have to redo this whole video, because I'd be upset. Okay, so now, what else do we have going on for you? Something I want to remember. Mars or remember to say, Mars in the first house, because you have this aggression, okay? You have this willfulness. It builds steam. It builds emotions. It could build anger. So you'll find yourself probably more anxious, more antsy, more I have to do type of thing, which can be great to get stuff done. You'll be shocked by how much you got accomplished. What I want you to keep in mind is the physical part of Mars needs to be expressed. And if you don't find a way to do that, you're going to be combative. So you need to find a way to physically let that steam escape somehow. Okay, but do it in a positive way. Get yourself involved in something, even if that means to get your butt outside and go for a walk. You will find help. You will find a release. You will find this will immensely help you to keep more stable mentally and emotionally. Okay, so you also might find at this time, because you're having your Aries, your Venus and your Mercury in your second house, right, in Scorpio, you're probably going to be enjoying food more than normal, more than before. Things that you make are going to taste fabulously. You might be into, think of Taurus. So you're going to be more into making money, more into willing to, anything you talk about right now, anything you communicate, you pay attention to the words. Talking, communication, this is all Mercury things. Now, Venus and Mercury are together, so they're harmoniously having a conversation. So Venus is all about my resources in Taurus. So you're very fortunate because you have Venus in the second house right now. So the ability to use your communicative skills to make money are going to be on ice for you. You're gonna have like support. It's just that simple. It's support because Venus is exalted here. Okay. Now, things you're going to have a good time with, again, are all the Tauri. I'm having problems with my video. It keeps stopping and starting on me, and I was just about to end, but I guess I'm back. So that means I should probably wrap this awkwardness, because we have the whole point of this new moon. Typically, a new moon, we just say, set your intentions, right? But this new moon has the new moon on this end, and exactly opposing it is an energy of freedom and individuality and originality, but it's in a very big, strong, not to be denied way. It's called Uranus. Uranus is about surprise, and it's focused on your values. It's focused on, what do I value? What are my resources? Am I included in that? Am I of value? And I say yes. There is definitely an awareness coming about our new level of value that we have for ourselves. This is definitely a time of where we have a desire for the higher, where we have divine desire, where we have we're going through elevation of ascension is what we're going through, for an awareness of our knowing. And I know this sounds like so much, but the truth is we've been doing this. We've been working on this all of 2019. So I want you to be aware that in areas of me and self, you're going to be experiencing probably some stuff, some additional work, some harder work, you know, in terms of Saturn, meaning instead of 4 steps, I got to take 10 steps to get something completed and accomplished. And you will be likely feeling this in the areas of, I have written down between home. There's going to be triggers between, actually it's significant one-on-one relationships is what it is. It's your significant one-on-one relationships, to be exact, which means, well, you kind of know all about this. You have Libra in your first house, and that is all about significant one-on-one relationships. But you have Aries there. I know in the earlier part of this video I said in your 6th house, because the chart, anyway, it could possibly have some of that in there, but your new value system is going to be in your 7th house. And at the same time, the Scorpio new moon is happening in your 2nd house. So it's my values, okay? In conjunction with others' values. So what I value and what other people value. You're going to discover that what other people value is going to somehow more easily align with what you value, or your value systems are going to more easily align with what other people's values are and what their resources are. It's almost as though there might be a possibility for a merging of resources. And I want you to just pay attention to what it is you really value at the new moon time, understanding that this is a combination, a culmination of what you've been discovering, and that will be where what your intentions are to focus on. You want to keep in mind that there's going to be some choppy waters because we have Pluto and Saturn involved and Uranus, and then we have Mercury going into a retrograde at the end of the month on the 30th or the 31st of October, which means plan for things to take a little bit longer over the next few weeks. Plan for communications to maybe be getting miscommunicated, where you may have to read things, read the fine print, go over the directions one more time. Just make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted before you sign anything, type of thing, and that it's a time of coming out, so to speak. It's a time of, this is who I am. There's something about freedom here because it's Uranus. Freedom in my worth and in my values. And for the Libra people, it's recognizing other people's values, but that I am part of other people's values. That I am finally aware of how what other people value includes me, includes this new degree of me that I've recently become aware of, that I've recently been able to perceive. And so with that is this a healing, a regenerative healing that's going to occur. So that concludes the reading for the Libra 2019 October. Bye.